and welcome to Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui and this is your guide to weekend entertainment. On this show each week, I help you choose what to watch and what to skip at the cinemas. And we talk about the craft and we talk about to the people of cinema. So without further ado, here is what's coming up on this show today. Tahir Bhasin, Amla Paul and Amrita Puri starrer Ranjish HI Sahi is an ode to the 70s Bollywood and Parveen Babi. Worth a watch. Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui star Vaani Kapoor talks about changing mindsets with her films by doing meaningful movies. Actor Tusshar Kapoor shares his journey to fatherhood in his book Bachelor Dad and shares his famous childhood filmy stories. And with back-to-back releases, Tahir Raj Bhasin reveals why characters set in the past mostly come to him. Let's talk about Ranjish HI Sahi that releases on Voot Select this week. Well, it's a nostalgic, emotional, dramatic interpretation, portrayal of a love story that has been brought to life at least 4 to 5 times on celluloid before. Arth, Phir Teri Kahani Yaad Aayi, Wo Lamhe, and now this. A superstar, lonely woman battling paranoid schizophrenia, a bohemian but tamiz director, a genius in the making, happily married man fleetingly involved with this leading lady who commands $1 billion on screen. It's a stuff of dreams and heartbreaks. Directed by Pushpadeep Bharadwaj, who earlier directed Jalebi, is a man of few words. He does less. His voice is minimal as a director and he lets his actors do the talking here. A production design reminiscent of the 70s and 80s, great controlled performances, minimum jargon with maximum impact through the conversations between the characters. Yet a profound atmosphere of heightened emotions is what Ranjish HI Sahi is about. The biggest piece of cake is taken away by Amla Paul, an actor who strikingly resembles Deepika Padukone, plays Parveen Babi to the T. Glamorous looks, brooding eyes, simmering anger, and an unbearable longing for her lover. The scenes of her, with her, and by her are simply breathtaking. She is just the kind of a performer this drama series had needed. Tahir Raj Bhasin, in the role of Mahesh Bhatt in the early 80s, is easy, very calm, very good. Not an inch extra or here and there. He uses his silent demeanor to portray a son whose mother's suffering had made him into a man who shall never abandon a woman, whether it is his wife or his lover outside the marriage. Integrity has a definition, but it has no specific color. This man seems to symbolize the couplet by Habib Jalib, "Aise dastoor ko, subhe benoor ko, main nahi manta, main nahi janta." This man is anything that the 70s or 80s society would not want him to be. Yet, he seems right. The victory of Ranjish HI Sahi is in the non-partisan take that the series takes on anything and everything. कुछ गलत नहीं, कुछ सही नहीं. इंसान गलत नहीं होते, हालात गलत होते हैं. An additional clap for Zarina Wahab. The character, the dialogues given to her are so touching. She says, तेरी परेशानी ये है बेटा कि तू हर मजबूर औरत में अपनी माँ तलाशता है. She is pivotal to the story even as she panders on the outskirts most of the time. Well, casting by Vaibhav Vishant is so powerful that not one character or actor is out of place. It's a very different experience out of the lot we have recently seen on OTT platforms. If you like human dramas, you should not miss this. I think you will agree with me when I say that 2021's best surprise was sprung by Vaani Kapoor, who has given her career's best performance in Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui. She touched everyone's heart with her performance. My colleague Vishal Chatkara caught up with Vaani Kapoor and spoke to her about working with film's director Abhishek Kapoor and playing the transgender character Manvi. This character that she plays was extremely risky, but boy, she pulls it off.
Vaani Kapoor, congratulations for the success and for the very touching performance in Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui. The movie was trending at #1 on Netflix in many countries. What a brave performance. You really, I'm sure your heart must be full of gratitude right now, thanking the world for all the love that you're getting.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think I'm so happy, and I think this is the first time where unanimously, like, I've got incredible response from the industry, from the critics, from the audience, everybody who's loved Manvi and given so much love to the film. So I think it's seriously, I think it's made my heart so full of love. I'm truly grateful.
Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui could have been the best or the craziest decision of your life. Did you ever fear that it could backfire?
Not at all. I think if I would have had that fear or the sense of insecurity of any kind, I don't think I would be part of this film. It truly did blow my mind when I read it, and also knowing that it's being directed by someone like a Gattu whose aesthetics are always on point. I mean, I've loved his films in the past. I connect to his world of cinema, and then you have an Ayushmann Khurrana who's also somebody who has such thought-provoking portrayal of his characters in films, and he does it so responsibly. So I knew that the treatment of the character and how it's going to flow in a film, it's not going to, I mean, it can go wrong, but it didn't. The chances of those seemed bleak. And the way it was written, and I think it was so beautifully written and penned down and fleshed out character, I'd be a fool to say no.
How was the response from trans community?
I think they truly did connect to the. I can't speak for everybody, but all the trans people who have come out and spoken about it. They've texted me and put out stories, and have tweeted about what they felt about the film and about Manvi. That's been overwhelming because I think they truly did connect to it, and they knew that it's coming from someplace honest and genuine. And I think just their love and their acceptance for Manvi has been my biggest achievement, and I think it's been the most rewarding for me as an actor when a community who I'm representing, who I don't belong to, kind of accept and give it so much love. So for me, that was very fulfilling and just incomparable.
What were the doubts you had in your mind when you went on to play this role? Did you take Manvi home?
It's just such a, like I said, a beautifully written character with so much soul to her, and there's so many layers to her. I think whoever's seen the film can kind of relate to the complexities and the vulnerabilities and the strength and the just a sum of everything beautiful a human can, I guess, incorporate in themselves. So I think Manvi was just a dream come true for me, and I've tried to be as authentic, as pure with her, and give her as much love as I could as an actor, because I think if I didn't have that conviction, I possibly would have failed to convince the audience. So for me, she's always going to be super, super special.
What changed that this film has brought in you and made you realize that we all need to be good human beings so that everybody can live happily?
We as society, I think we will not be cohesive if if we have preconceived notions and judgments about something that doesn't sit right with our mindset because of whatever lack of knowledge or oblivion or the kind of experiences that we particularly don't have to go through in our life. And we need to evolve as humans, and there are a lot of people who don't have a reference point to begin with, while you're studying in school or when you're in colleges. These discussions, like I said, don't happen with your teachers, with anybody. So I feel there's so much lack of knowledge and information and insight to what's happening, which is why one tends to lean towards what you don't know. It can be scary, or it can be, I don't know, unusual for you, but now you need to really kind of open your horizons and welcome everybody, because our society is not going to be cohesive if one lives with these preconceived notions. Yeah.
Is it correct to say the main job of an actor is to stay focused when he's on the set, because that keeps him or her in the character? What happened when an actor gets distracted?
Then you just do a bad job, I guess. Then you're not there. I mean, then you're not there. If you're not there as an actor, then yeah, I guess you're not there, and then that scene might. For me, I can speak for myself. I like to be more than prepared. Everybody has a very different way of functioning, I think. I can't speak for every other artist, but I know for myself, I just like to be more than 100% prepared. And I do take everything, be it a big scene or a small scene, but I like to take it everything very, very seriously.
You've been part of some very successful and big ticket movies. You started with Desi Romance, then you were directed by the most celebrated director Aditya Chopra, and now by Abhishek Kapoor. You have paired opposite superstars, be it Hrithik Roshan or Akshay Kumar. Can you imagine yourself doing a role maybe which is set in a village or which is not very glamorous?
But I don't think Shuddesi mein, the part that I played, Tara's part, she wasn't glamorous at all. Even the South film that I did, Aha Kalyanam, I don't think my part was glamorous. I don't think, yeah, but like if you're talking about a very like a rural village part, people have not seen me, but I think if given an opportunity, I don't think I'm going to disappoint. I don't think I'm going to disappoint them.
Abhishek Kapoor is one director who'd like to team up with his talent, with his actors again, be it Sushant Singh Rajput, whom he recast in Kedarnath. Will we be seeing Vaani Kapoor in another film directed by Abhishek Kapoor in future?
I really, 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 really hope it happens because I adore him and I think a part of me is going to feel very envious if he casts somebody else. So if Gattu is watching this interview, please Gattu cast me.
With Chandigarh Kare Aashiqui, you really upped the ante for yourself and raised expectations. Where do you see yourself going from here?
I'm just hopeful and I'm grateful to everything that has worked for me from this film and every other film that I've been part of, and I'm just hopeful that many amazing talented filmmakers who are on my wish list can hopefully someday consider me and give me an opportunity.
Vaani Kapoor, thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you.
Tusshar Kapoor, who has been working sporadically in the movies ever since he became a single parent, has now turned an author with his debut book titled Bachelor Dad. This book talks about his journey to becoming a single father and how that changed his life and work. My colleague Vishal Chatkara spoke to Tusshar about the book and the 80s Bollywood.
Tusshar Kapoor, congratulations for your debut as a writer. Tusshar Kapoor, Bachelor Dad, that's the title of your book that you have written about your journey to fatherhood. Please tell us more about this book and what is that you wanted to say through it?
Well, it's, as you said correctly, it's about my journey into fatherhood, and it starts off from a few years before I became a dad and got into my mid-30s, and thereafter it goes on till the phase as we are in right now, unlocking and locking, the constant struggle that we're going through. So my experiences as being a bachelor and then becoming a bachelor dad is what I have written about in this book. Through this book, I've just tried to bring out the true story about my journey as a single parent, and that's all I've tried to do, and I hope people find it interesting, find it entertaining, find it inspiring. I'm not trying to preach anything. I'm not trying to teach anything.
Sound like an emotional ride, but is there a chapter in this book which you actually felt putting it out there, like something that you have not spoken about it, but you felt because you're putting your feelings in this book, you need to say that? Maybe your fragility?
Well, there are so many things that you go through when you decide to do something very different, very new, especially in a conservative society like India's. And I went through lots of emotions, lots of thoughts, and what really spurred me on to taking the plunge and becoming a father quite uniquely is something that I've written about. And I think there are lots of preconceived notions about actors, especially male actors, and notions about single parents and how involved they are, and can they really be good parents, and is it if you're living in a family wherein you have a mom and a dad and a sister, are you still single? There are lots of notions about film industry people, and especially ones that are from a film family. So I hope I've tried to break a lot of those stereotypical thought processes that people have.
Ricky Martin, who's also another single father like you, have described his first year of fatherhood as, he said, insanity. How was it for you the first year as a dad, Tusshar?
It was It was great. It was a new experience, and I'm learning every day. I'm exploring every day. I'm finding adventure and being a parent every day, and it just makes life so much more meaningful. It makes it more enjoyable. It's hectic for sure, but it's constant growth, constant unlearning of so many things, and constant improvisation, and finding newer facets to your personality, and just going along with the flow.
Does your son know that you're an actor?
He's beginning to understand it when he sees people taking my autographs. So I think he knows that I'm an actor, but he's not able to connect that. He's still a little innocent. He doesn't understand that I'm famous or I'm a celebrity. And, but he loves BTS. So he knows what a pop band or a rock band is all about. Bollywood ke liye time hai abhi to expose him to Bollywood.
Is Dadaji was a big superstar? He doesn't know that? He hasn't seen on TV?
He has seen my dad's songs a few, but he doesn't know that he was such. I've told him that he was a superstar, and he's done more than 200 movies. But I still don't think he understands the whole concept of movie stars and Bollywood. He knows all the Spider-Man ho ya Hulk ho. He knows all those superheroes, and he knows BTS. So what his favorites are, he just knows that.
You know, you're a filmy kid. You actually grown up in Bollywood. How do you describe industry today to the time when you were growing up?
Today, I think the industry, of course, is more opened out. You know, there are all the different kinds of genres coming out, and it's more competitive now, for sure. It was always competitive, but it's super competitive now. It's become very, very cutthroat, and everyone's just waiting to announce before anything else. Everybody just wants to jump onto announcing their next project, and that just shows that everything is so fast paced. The movies were more wholesome earlier. I think they appealed to a much wider audience, while right now I think the movies are more varied in their genres, and finding different niche audiences to cater to, which is also good. But the classic entertaining or all-time entertaining films were definitely in the past. We have very few of them now.
You know, back then people used to wear those multiple rings and white shirt and white jeans, and some peculiar things used to happen in Bollywood. Is there a funny story which you look back and laugh, maybe at a producer or at a filmy party?
हमारे घर पे जो फिल्मी पार्टी होती थी तो हम बच्चे जब एकता में मतलब when we were very small, we used to have this autograph book they used to make at those times, the old school autograph books, and we used to go to the garden where the party used to be happening, and we used to take an autograph from every actor that came. And there are some autographs that we have 5-6 of the same person. Like I think I must have Shakti Kapoorji's autograph was taken 5-6 times because he must have come 4-5 times to my house. So I have so many of his autographs still lying with me. I can't find those books now, but it used to be like collecting stamps. I think we used to collect autographs.
Tusshar Kapoor, thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Time for a short break. When we come back, we have actor Tahir Raj Bhasin sharing his stories behind the scenes of the web series, of course, Ranjish HI Sahi. He's one of the finest actors we have these days. Watch out for him. Welcome back to Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui. Now, Tahir Raj Bhasin, the star of Voot Select series Ranjish HI Sahi, spoke to my colleague Vishal Chatkara about working in this original series that has been created by Mahesh Bhatt and where he also plays Mahesh Bhatt. He reveals why those parts that are set in the past, be it Shyam Chadda, the hero of the 40s from Manto, or Shankar, that is of course Mahesh Bhatt, a character that he plays in Ranjish HI Sahi, come to him. What's the reason?
Tahir, your next outing titled Ranjish HI Sahi, which is set in the 70s Bollywood, and you play a film director named Shankar. Who was your inspiration? Did you model this character on some director you know, or a TV show you watch and you said, okay, that's the character I want to play?
I had a number of influences. Of course, Bhatt Saab and his philosophy and the journey he has is a small part of that. A lot of what Pushpadeep told me, the director and writer, influenced that. Bachchan Saab was very big in he was going through this golden era of the 70s cinema with Sholay and Diwar. watching his body language, not only in films, but in behind the scenes interviews and red carpets, that footage that we have from the day, that influenced it a whole lot. Watching Hollywood actors back in the day, the kind of style and the swag that they had. And it really is like you're a sculptor. You take the clay from everywhere and you mold a character, and that is the joy.
When you choose a role that you're gonna play in a series or in a movie, is there a soul connection you have between you and the character you're gonna play?
Definitely. Maybe that connection might not happen instantly. At first, you just choose it as an actor because you think it is a great part to play. But as you're discovering the part, there is that one connection that you make, and it always remains with you. In this case, for Shankar, he is an artist who wants to create a box office hit, a success that is seen by the audience. And as the actor Tahir, I really relate to that. And it's one thing that the pandemic over the past 2 years has taught me. I always used to think that I was the kind of actor who enjoyed the process of acting so much that my job starts and begins and ends on set. But I realize now that for the work to reach the audience, to entertain the audience, to get their critique, to get their feedback, is also such an important part of the journey.
Tahir, you're almost becoming this go-to actor who keeps going back in time to play characters from history, be it Shyam Chadda, the hero of 40s in Manto, or Sunil Gavaskar in 83, even Derek, because in Chichore that was also set in the past, or Shankar of Ranjish HI Sahi. Have you now figured out why these roles in stories set in the past comes to you?
Yes, because one thing that I'm very passionate about bringing to all characters is authenticity. And I believe that when decades change, fashion changes, technology changes, but what doesn't change is human emotion. How someone will react to heartbreak in the 70s will be absolutely the same as they will in the 90s. And if you can just remember that, then everything else is just dressing.
You really become part of the history with 83. You played Sunil Gavaskar in the movie. The film is still in the cinema, but are you really disheartened about the film performance at the box office?
Not really, Vishal. For me, 83 is a timeless piece of cinema. Whether you watch the film 5 weeks from now or you watch it 5 months from now, it will evoke the same kind of emotion with which the film was made. It is such a special part of the sporting history of the country's history that doing 83 for me was an emotional decision. It wasn't an actor's decision. When I was approached by Kabir Khan to say, will you play Sunil Gavaskar? Normally actors take a day or two to read the script, to get back to the director. It took me 5 minutes to say, of course, I will play him, because it is a privilege to have the opportunity to play a living legend. And that is been the biggest opportunity, and it will definitely be something very special in my filmography.
Tahir Bhasin, thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you so much, Vishal.
Okay, so with that, we have come to the end of this week's edition of Now Showing. We'll see you next week with more reviews and more interviews. Until then, goodbye, be safe, and thank you for watching.